Hi, beautiful people. It's Wonderful Wednesday. I'm April Roll, your board certified ER doctor and lifestyle medicine doctor online. I also provide weight loss care and access to weight loss medications that have the same active ingredient as Ozempic, Mounjaro, and the GLP-1 class of medications. If you are new to my channel or you're a returning subscriber, welcome. On this channel, I focus on 360-degree health and wellness, and that takes into account the whole person and lifestyle changes that can treat and reverse their medical conditions. And if they don't have medical conditions, just maintain overall health and wellness. In today's video, I am going to be talking about the risks of GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy, the generic term semaglutide or tirzepatide, but just in general, the GLP-1 class of medications, their risks that are involved with taking them. If you have not seen my video about the benefits of GLP-1 medications, I would take a look at that first. That way you can get the good, the bad, and the ugly, okay? And not just on this video where I'm talking about some negative things and or risks that can be involved with taking these type of medications. So first I want to start off with people who should not be taking these medications. Period, the end. Who should not be taking these medications? People who, are allergic to these medications, meaning you've either taken a medication in this class before and you've had some type of allergic reaction, rash, hives, itching, swelling, difficulty breathing, wheezing, throat discomfort and or swelling of the mouth, tongue, and throat area. You should not take the medication if you have had this type of reaction. Now, if you've never had the medication before and you do take it and then you have an allergic reaction, then stop it, don't take it anymore. If you've never had the medication, but you or someone in your family has a history of thyroid cancer, then specifically medullary thyroid cancer, then you also should not take the medication at all. If you or your family has a history of multiple endocrine neoplasia type 2, also another thing, you should not be taking this medication. So those are 3 reasons you should not be taking the GLP-1 medication. So that's not really like a risk. That's just kind of like a negative, a bunch of people want to be on this medication because it's trending, and a bunch of people need to be or may need to be on these type of medications because they either have diabetes or they have obesity and other comorbidities. But like I said, if you have these 3 things, you're allergic to the medication, or you have a history in yourself or your family of thyroid, medullary thyroid cancer, or multiple endocrine neoplasia, no, you cannot take it. Okay. Some other things to kind of think about, hesitant or going slow with whether or not you should take it is if you have a history of pancreatitis or gallstones, because these medications can increase the risk of getting pancreatitis and gallstones. So now that we got those kind of things out of the way of why you absolutely should not take it, the 3 things I mentioned initially, and then kind of like what to be kind of on the lookout for. Not saying you can't take it if you have a history of pancreatitis or gallstones, but just to know that these things will increase the risk of pancreatitis. So if that happens to you, you get pancreatitis or you have a gallstone issue, you may need to be taken off the medication after starting it. So now into the rest of everybody else. If you are on this medication, what are the risks that are involved? So, or downsides, I guess I should say. The most common thing associated with these medications they involve the GI tract, okay? So your belly. Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, okay? These are the main things that people complain about or have or end up having when they're on it. Also, GI upset, abdominal pain. The medication does slow down your appetite and causes you to feel full. It actually decreases emptying of the stomach. So one reason you could be getting like a nausea, upset stomach feeling is because you literally haven't eaten, okay? And you get that kind of really bad sensation where you feel like you're gonna vomit, you feel ill, like a irritated stomach. That's because you need to eat more, drink more water and fluids, and that could help with those symptoms. Drinking more water and eating things, especially things with fiber in them like fruits and vegetables, that could also decrease constipation, because again, if you're not taking in enough water but you're eating things, especially if you're eating like more processed foods or fatty foods, fried foods, you can get even more constipated because you're not hydrating your system, or you're eating things that already slow down your GI tract and you're on a medication that is slowing down your GI tract. So 2 plus 2, is 4, more constipation. That wasn't really an analogy, but you know what I mean. A bad thing plus a bad thing of the same is going to be more of a bad thing. So if you're already having a medication that can cause constipation and then you're following an eating pattern that causes constipation, you're going to more likely have constipation. So those are the GI symptoms that can be like negatively associated with these medications, and the things that you can do to prevent that. Another thing that can be done to prevent those symptoms, simply following with a doctor who has you on a go slow regimen. Start low and go slow, okay? Some people, and also take the medication that is prescribed to you. Some people are out here taking other people's medications. So let's say you have two siblings, right? One is on the medication, and let's say they've started low and slow, they've gone to an increased dose, and now they've increased their dose again by their physician or healthcare provider who is prescribing this to them. And their sibling is like, oh, hey, I want to be on that medication too, let me try it. First of all, no, do not take other people's medications that are not prescribed to you. But let's just say in this scenario, the other sibling who is not on the medication takes a dose that is not the lowest dose possible, and boom, they end up with belly pain, vomiting, diarrhea, the whole nine, and end up in the ER because they have intractable vomiting to the point that they are dehydrated, need to go to the ER and actually get IV fluids. I have seen these things happen. I am an ER doctor. I have seen these things. So another thing for causing these GI symptoms and avoiding these GI symptoms, it's your dosing. You should start low on the medication. Again, under the direction of a physician or healthcare provider that is prescribing this, and you are having a treatment plan under their guidance and not going off the rails to follow on your own path based on hearsay and things that you've heard from other people who are not healthcare providers, because you will get yourself into that nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, dehydration, ending up in the ER for IV fluids. So that's another way to combat that negative side effect. Okay. A couple other things. Because I want to not forget any of these risks. Okay, so also, while you are on this medication, you're going to be losing weight, especially if you're taking the medication as prescribed. You're going to effectively be losing weight. And although you are losing fat, you also will be losing some muscle. So one of the I'm blanking on the word side effects of losing muscle, because you're not just gonna lose muscle in one area. You're gonna lose it in generally in your whole body. So one of the things that is a side effect of that is facial aging. So as some people start to lose weight, and the fat and the muscles in their face are also losing some mass, they may tend to look older. So that's just something to keep in mind. But in order to kind of reduce muscle loss is by exercising, doing like weightlifting and things like that, in order to make sure that you are keeping up with your muscle mass. And that's another, this is an aside. Muscle is heavier than weight. So don't be discouraged if you're not losing the pounds because you are participating in a either like weightlifting, and I'm not talking about like going hard in the gym, lifting hundreds of pounds. I'm just saying doing something to keep the tone and the mass in your weight, making sure you're eating enough protein to keep up with your muscle mass. So I talked about the GI effects. I talked about the facial aging and muscle mass loss, and I talked about pancreatitis. The other things that can happen, you can get gallstones if you're losing weight too quickly. That's not specific to this medication, but again, if you are having abdominal pain, that could be a sign that you are developing gallstones. So if you're having intense abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, you should go and be evaluated for gallstones, because sometimes gallstones can lead to an infected or inflamed gallbladder. And also sometimes the gallbladder, the gallstone itself can get stuck in a duct, which can cause infection and some other things, but also abdominal pain, nausea, and vomiting. So that's why we say if you're having an intense pain, go to the ER and be evaluated for that, because that can become very serious. Also, abdominal pain, pancreatitis causes that. So again, that's something that needs to be evaluated in the ER and, would require IV fluids and things like that. So, one more thing I want to mention goes along with dehydration. So all of these things are kind of like a snowball effect. Well, I don't want to say all, but the GI effects can become a snowball effect into basically getting dehydrated, which I've mentioned several times already. So taking in a lot of water is very important when you're on these medications. But if you don't do that, or you can't do that because you're having so much vomiting and diarrhea that you're losing fluids and you cannot take in fluids, then that is going to cause you to go into kidney failure from severe dehydration. So that's obviously not something that you want. So you got to remember to keep your water intake adequate. And if you are unable to do that because of nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, that you should go to the ER so that you can get IV hydration to avoid kidney failure. So that's a lot that I've given you in this video, but those are pretty much the downsides to being on the GLP-1 medications and ways that you can avoid those. One main one is take the medication the way that it is prescribed and start low and go slow as directed by your physician or healthcare provider. So those are the major downsides, negative associated and risks, all of that come with the GLP-1 medications. Like I said, I told you good. Now in this video, I gave you the bad and the ugly. And that's pretty much all that I have to go over in this video. I hope that you learned something from this video. If you have any questions about either the risks or anything that I talked about in this video, you can put those in the comment section below. If you don't know the benefits of the medications, please go watch my other video about the benefits of GLP-1 medications. I also have other videos about what is a GLP-1 medication. I hope you learned about what not to do, and who can get the medication, who can't get the medication. If you are interested in learning if you can be on the medication or you want access to the medication, you can click the description box below and click the link in there to schedule an appointment with me. If you like this video, click that like button, share this video with a friend, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is February 2025. Also, I don't want to end this video without giving a proper, not shout out, but a proper visual of my shirt here, because we've got some amazing people on my shirt. But thank you for sharing this wonderful Wednesday with me. Be blessed and stay healthy.